Welcome back to the Red Stool. And today we're here to talk about My Hero Academia, chapter 351. Now, when we start this chapter, we finally get the fight between Dabi and Todoroki. Because honestly, the way last chapter went out, I didn't think that Dabi was going to even be able to throw a punch because he was already burning himself away, getting more angry and emotional by the second. So just to see him make it to the end of his origin story in this sea of flames that he's created, you got to be amazed by it. He's sitting here, he's pushing past his limits, and I love how not only when he found out that his body no longer would be able to hold his quirk, he didn't let that stop him. He stuck to his guns and he said, you know what? I'm going to still emulate Endeavor. I'm going to specialize in these high power, high fire output moves. And it doesn't matter anymore what happens to me. If I burn myself up, it doesn't matter because I can't feel pain anymore. So he starts to just lean into that, the fact that now he can't really feel pain and his body still isn't suited for his quirk. But none of that matters in this mad quest that he has for acknowledgement and revenge from his father. And also in the chapter, I just love how he's using all of Endeavor's special moves like Hellfire Fist, and he even uses the spider version, and they're just wild. It's like we're almost seeing if Endeavor was, he just didn't have to worry about anything and released his firepower freely, except worse, because Dabi, he has no care for the Nomu, the other heroes, whoever else is on that battlefield with him. If they get burnt, it doesn't matter. He's just letting his body and his flames go at maximum power. And even to the point where you have Endeavor's sidekicks and even Todoroki, they're saying like, this is unnatural, and for him to accumulate this much heat this quickly, the way it's said is of course it's a double-edged sword. I'm pretty sure him abusing his body like this will probably be the last time that he's able to do that and survive. In this fight, we have to get into the emotional layer, which is Dabi feeling like he's Endeavor's greatest failure up against Endeavor's greatest creation. And when he just starts digging into Todoroki, belittling him, and he kind of just starts ripping his life apart, saying you're supposed to be, the chosen one, and yet you've wasted all of your potential. You've had the perfect upbringing, the perfect training, the perfect quirk, and here you are. You should be number one hero already. Even though Todoroki is still a kid who hasn't even graduated high school. All of this, you can hear like it's a bit of disappointment too in his voice, because of course he wanted Endeavor to be here for this fight so he can finally force his father to look at him, acknowledging everything that he's done and in both of their lives on that term, which I think is what he would have been leaning for. But since Todoroki's here, he's gonna have to do. We know that Todoroki, he's not budging. He's dead set on stopping Dabi, and of course he's been training, preparing, using his half hot, half cold quirk at the same time, getting ready for this moment to just be able to weather and endure, take on all of his brother's hateful comments, thoughts, and his perceptions, which he does. And I like how Todoroki has this moment where he's like, you know what, it makes me happy to know that, you've basically been watching me all these years. I guess it kind of is like a moment that he's reaching for just to be close to him, like, because honestly, this probably is the sibling that he relates to the most, which is also sad. But he's also the reason that he's been pushed to this new form and what he can do now with his quirk, because he's able to absorb just all this anger, hate, and all of Dabi's firepower into his body. And that's the basis around the Hellfire technique, which is to just get as hot as you possibly can and then release that fire all at once. So Todoroki has conditioned his body with the ice to be able to absorb more heat, more fire, and then release it. But that's not even the best part, because he's releasing this heat back at Dabi from the icy side of his body. So I feel like this is the point where we're getting where Horikoshi is saying Todoroki has mastered his quirk, and just how over the past couple chapters with everything that Shigaraki and All For One have been doing, I've been thinking the way we're looking at quirks is almost wrong, especially when it comes to people like who have multiple abilities with their quirks, like Todoroki, because of course we know it's half fire, half ice. Now, where we should look at as one quirk that gives him the ability to do both. And of course, he's used one on one side and one on the other, but I think he's finally broken past that like mental block he's had and is accepting his quirk as just one unit of fire and ice. And he breaks out this new technique, Hellfire Phosphorus. And I like, and this could be a lot of things. Now, in the illustrations, I'm thinking maybe the fire is going to come out white since he's unleashing this attack from the icy side of his body. However, it could come out red since they're both red and white phosphorus, which also falls in line with Todoroki's duality of his nature. Which I like this fight. I like how the growth here on both sides. We have Dabi, he's using all of Endeavor's moves in this wild and crazy way. And the way that he's building up all this heat is just so freakish and unnatural. And it kind of leans into that prodigy nature that he has. Because, of course, I think we're wrong to look at Dabi as a failure. He's almost prodigy-like because at a young age, he was basically able to awaken and take his quirk to an extreme high level that even Endeavor didn't reach. So to look at Dabi as a failure, I think we're wrong for that. And I like how Horikoshi is acknowledging that here just with the amount of raw power that he's unleashing. Of course, it's going to come with the consequences to his body, which is why I think Todoroki ultimately has the advantage in this fight. Because the longer this goes on, the better. Because Todoroki can always cool himself down. He can make a body that Dabi can't burn. He's been working so hard for this over the past couple years. And I like that Todoroki, he's finally coming into his own. And we're going to get to see how he's going to be as a hero. Can he save his brother? Or is he just going to have to settle for just stopping him? There's a lot of open-ended questions that we have with this chapter at the end of it. And unfortunately, it also comes with the fact that we're probably going to be getting a break again. And that is, that's sad. I mean, we just came off break last week, and now we're going to go back onto another one. So we're going to have to speculate for a while, but at least it was a good chapter. But as I always say, please let me know your thoughts, your comments below. Make sure you follow me on all social media at ThatBoyBestBoy. I'm going to see y'all later, all right? Peace.